Hey guys, my name is Dredge Eco. Welcome back to another video. So this is going to be a very different one in a lot of ways. First off, before we get into anything though, I want to apologize for the break in uploads this week. I've been trying to figure out some new editing stuff. It's completely new to me. Got it figured out though. You'll see some of that later in some transitions. Really odd transition. I'll be using this one, but it was new, so it took me a second to figure it out. But this is going to be and I've uploaded a tips and tricks video before for Chucky. I don't like that one. It's gonna be remade. But this will be a new formatted video. I'm gonna be actually showing some clips from the tips, talking about lots of different stuff. And for this one's gonna be for the Dredge because he's a fun character that I really enjoy playing a lot, and so I wanted to make one for him. So without further ado, we'll get right into it, and we're gonna start with a brief overview of the Dredge's power in case you're not familiar. So the Dredge has two aspects to his power. Or three technically. Part 1 is the gloaming. Press and hold the power button to activate. Once activated, the Dredge leaves behind a remnant behind. Aim at a locker and press the ability button to teleport into it, so you can teleport to lockers, or press the attack button and you return to the remnant. So basically, when you charge the power, you move slower when you hold it, and you leave behind a black ball of mist thing. And with that black ball of mist, you can press a button and you'll teleport back to it, like where you originally started charging the power, or you can teleport to a locker. That's the other thing. The other aspect of it would be nightfall. So when survivors are injured or on a hook, or the teleport power is used, the nightfall meter begins to fill. It also fills faster for each survivor that is injured. Once nightfall is full, nightfall begins. What this causes to happen is the map becomes completely dark. Survivors are highlighted in white. You gain undetectable. Survivors hear various sounds of like moaning and groans of pain, kind of like what's you kind of just hear is playing of the Dredge sometimes, like right there. Not to mention, you also teleport much faster and has a shorter cooldown. You also will gain Killer Instinct on any survivors near you when you teleport to them. So what this ultimately ends up creating is a character that's not the best at anti-loop, but can be used for it if used properly, and at the same time also has immense map pressure, and that's really where he shines. So to begin, we'll talk about the builds later. Right, so to begin, there, kind of what I was saying before I did a little jump cut. Sorry about that. We're going to start with some things. Number one, so the first tip that I really want to talk about with him is how to use the Dredge's Remnant ability, because it's his anti-loop, and ultimately what can create. Sometimes using that power right can make or break character in certain matches. So the first tip I want to talk about is don't use the power directly on a pallet. I know this might seem appealing, because then you can immediately teleport back if they vault it and catch them. Sorry. What that's going to end up doing is that's actually going to end up giving the survivors more opportunities to get away from you than you're probably realizing. So I'll go ahead, and now we're going to go to our first clip, and it will demonstrate an average experience of about what happens when you try to use the power at a pallet directly, and why you shouldn't do that. Okay, so now that we've seen that clip about not how to use the power, let's talk about how you should use the Remnant. Notice we're in paint now, so what we're going to go ahead and do is this will be the palette. This will mark the palette, and then I'm going to draw, these will be the walls of the loop. So typically on the majority of your loops like this, you have a short end of a loop and you have a long end. This is to help keep the flow of gameplay better. What I would recommend doing, like you saw in the clip, they're going to drop the pallet, they're going to go towards the long end. It works better for the survivor. What I would recommend doing is follow them. They're going to realize what you're doing, and they're going to begin to, this way, you're going to drop your remnant right here, and then walk this way with the power charged. When you hit about this point, the survivor is going to begin to double back. What's going to happen is they're going to be forced into a situation where they're going to want to leave the loop, because if they fall, you can tell back. You can just drop the power, hit them. If they go this way, you can return to the remnant and hit them. I'll now go ahead and show a clip of what I mean by this and what the proper way to use the power is. Alright, so now we've gone ahead and demonstrated how to use that. Now I want to talk about using his power, using the teleportation part of his power. So, there's obviously... there's a lot of different ways you can use it. No, not a lot, but we'll start with using it to cut off survivors and chase. If you know where a survivor's going and they're not being too observant, you can use it to get hits. This doesn't always work. Survivors that are paying attention will not let this happen to them, and it's very easy to avoid from a survivor's perspective. But it doesn't mean it's not a useful thing to understand when to do and how to do it. So I'll go ahead and include a clip now, or two clips, one during just normal gameplay and one during Nightfall. That will also help hopefully demonstrate the difference of the power during those two, and also in the other okay, so now I want to go ahead and talk about how to use the teleportation aspect of this power. To start, we're going to talk about using it mid-chase. It's not always the easiest thing to do, but when you know where a survivor's going and they're not paying attention, you can use it to cut them off. It doesn't always happen because survivors who are paying attention can avoid it very easy. It's very easy to avoid from the survivor's perspective, to avoid getting hit by that, but that doesn't mean it doesn't always work, and it's a good thing to understand, have a good idea of what to use, so I'll go ahead and include a clip of that now. Okay, so now that that clip's played out, I'm going to go ahead and show... I want to go ahead and show the same clip, but during Nightfall. I want this to help, I want you to pay attention to two major things here. How much faster we teleport, because you teleport a lot faster during Nightfall. And the other thing I want you to keep in mind is the reason I'm showing you that specifically during Nightfall is because that is when you should be using it the most to cut off survivors. The teleportation is so much faster, and it's almost not worth doing it during day unless you know it will work. You don't always have that guarantee. And so during Nightfall is when you really should be using it to teleport. And so that is what I want to show you. So I'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and play that clip now. Okay, now that that clip's played, there's another part of this teleportation power I want to talk about real quick that's not one of the major uses, but can be a use of it. When survivors have the ability to lock lockers in order to slow you down while you're coming out of a locker. Now, the thing I want to talk about today, right now, is if you teleport to a locker as a survivor is locking it, you will instantly grab them. Now, this is not something you should be trying to do, like actively trying to do. It shouldn't be something you're focusing on, and don't have an expectation it's going to happen at a Dredge match, because it's not going to. It doesn't happen all that often. But if you have a piece of information using an aura, and you can tell they're about to lock a locker, and you can start the teleport to it, or if you can see them about to do it, then go for it, because it will be an instant grab, and that can make or break a game sometimes. I'll go ahead and include a quick clip of that now, so you can see what I mean. Ultimately, the timing sums up is as long as you have started the teleport animation, when they start the locking animation, you will grab them. So we'll go ahead and show that clip now. Okay, so now that we got that clip out of the way, I want to talk about the other major part of using his teleportation power. And that, folks, is gonna be map pressure. So the fact Dredge has the ability to move around the map so much has him unrivaled for being able to apply pressure to multiple points, multiple parts of the map at multiple times, like the same time during the game, basically. And so a few of the strategies I want to talk about are using information perks. Some of the best perks you can use on the Dredge are going to be ones that give you information about auras. So Scourge Hook, Floods of Rage. What that does is every time a survivor unhooks, you see the aura of all their survivors besides the unhooked survivor. Not the one unhooking, the one that just got off the hook. That is very good because it allows you to see where everybody is, notice what they're doing, and you can use this information to get the jump on somebody. Next, another really good perk is barbecue and chili. This has been a classic staple of Killer for a very long time. It's kind of fallen off in recent months or years, like a year at this point. It's been a while now, but that does not mean it's bad. In fact, I dare argue the Dredge is one of the best users of this perk. When you down somebody and you hook a survivor, when you hook a survivor, any other survivors who are 40 meters or more away, our aura is revealed to you. This is very good for the same reason. You can go ahead and use it, and you get information, and you can get the jump on them. Now, another perk I want to talk about is Alien Instinct. What this does is when you hook a survivor, the furthest survivor who is injured, their aura is revealed to you, and they become oblivious. Oblivious means they can't hear your terror radius. This is very good for a multitude of reasons. You can sneak up on them, they won't even notice. Last but not least, another perk I highly recommend on him is one that I talked about in a video I have on my channel, which I will link up here, or I'm bad at this and I don't have my webcam pulled up. The card, it will pop up. I think it's this way. It'll be on the top right of your screen. I'm probably pointing it the wrong side. This way. There we go. Either way, is Friends Till the End. This is a perk from Chucky, or the good guy. What it does is when you hook someone who's not the obsession is revealed to you, and they become exposed. This means you can hook somebody, see where the obsession is, teleport to them, down them in one hit, and then using one of these other perks, have more information. So real quick, I'll go over the perks I talked about again. Squirtchoke Flood of Rage belongs to Sadako, or the Onryo. She's a paid character. All of the perks I'm talking about right now, unfortunately, are from paid characters, and I know that's unfortunate, but I will talk about some good perks that aren't. The next one I talked about, barbecue and chili, belongs to the Cannibal, or Leatherface, or Bubba. Another one I talked about, which was Alien Instinct, belongs to the Alien, or the Xenomorph. And then the last one I talked about was the good guy, or Chucky. Awesome. Now I want to talk about another perk real quick, and it's probably one of the better general perks you can get on the Dredge, and it's gonna kind of segue into what I want to talk about real quick here. Well, before we continue, actually, I'm gonna show a clip of using barbecue and chili to get good information about where other survivors are and to apply bad pressure. So I'll go ahead and include that clip now.
Yeah.
Okay guys, so now that we have that clip out of the way, there's two more perks I want to talk about that are free to play that you won't get the same amount of value from, but are still pretty good on the Dredge. The first one up is Bitter Murmur. Bitter Murmur is a general perk. It doesn't belong to anybody. It will automatically be available in the Dredge's Blood Web from the time you unlock him. What this does is each time a generator is fully repaired, survivors within 16 meters of the completed generator have their aura revealed to you for 5 seconds. When the last generator is repaired, all survivors' auras are revealed for 10 seconds. This is very good for basically the same reasons I was talking about. It's just not as good because it doesn't allow you to potentially interrupt those generators being worked on. They have to pop in order for you to get information, which is always a bad feeling, but at least we can make it work for us somewhat here. Well, this is gonna, and so you can use it the same way. If you just down somebody, or a chase is going bad, or just whatever, suddenly you have information. Information is your most important tool on the Dredge. And so being able to see where survivors are is great, and so I highly recommend Bitter Murmur if you're free to play and you want a good build for the Dredge. Bitter Murmur is a great one. Now, the next one I want to talk about for the Dredge when it comes free to play is right here, Tinkerer. This belongs to the Hillbilly. Oh, yeah, this belongs to the Hillbilly. It's a teachable, so you need to prestige the Hillbilly in order to get it on everybody or get it in the Shrine of Secrets. But Hillbilly is a free character unlocked immediately. Don't even have to use iridescent shards. When a generator is repaired to 70% progress, it triggers a loud noise notification and regain undetectable for 16 seconds. This combos swimmingly with a multitude of other perks, and I cannot recommend this one enough because it allows you to see where a generator is being worked on, and you know it's going to pop soon, but you can interrupt it, and you get information about where survivors are, because the generator went off. So it's a great perk. It's a really good perk on any character, not just Dredge, but it's one you can use on him quite effectively, and he is going to benefit from it greatly because, again, Dredge benefits from information. Now, I want to talk about some regression options for the Dredge. The Dredge is an M1 killer. That means they're a basic attack killer. Dredge does not have an attack that counts as a special attack. So, what that's going to mean is... let me just actually pull it up. Surge is going to be a great choice. This is from the Demogorgon, so it is another paid one, but I'll talk about a free-to-play option here in just a second. So what this means is every time you put Survivor to the Dying State with a basic attack, all generators within 32 meters, that's your whole tear radius, by the way, will explode and instantly lose 8% of their progress. This also, by the way, if there's a survivor working on it, they will scream. You will know if there's someone on it. This is good for a multitude of reasons, because again, it's an instant 8% progress gone. It begins regressing if there's not a survivor on it, and if there is, you know there's a survivor on it. Unfortunately, again, it is from the Demogorgon, which is a paid character, but he's back now, which is pretty good. It used to be a general perk. Unfortunately, it's not anymore. I have mixed feelings about that, but it's whatever. Now I want to talk about probably one of the best regression perks in the game and free to play. That's going to be Pop Goes the Weasel. This is one of those ones that's been a staple in the killer meta for a long time, and it still is. And unless they give us a good alternative or they heavily nerf it, I'm not going to see it leaving that meta ever. I think it will always have a place of relevance. After hooking a survivor, the next generator you damage instantly loses 30% progress of its current progress. That is insane. For reference, if you do that when Tinkerer procs, you're gonna send that gen. It's gonna be you're gonna almost reduce it by half. So it's gonna be a long time for that gen to pop. And this is from the Clown. You can get him for free as well. You just need to prestige him once you unlock him, and you'll have Pop Goes the Weasel for free. One of the best combos in the game is Tinkerer, Pop Goes the Weasel. You down somebody, you hook them, Tinkerer goes off, you go kick it with Pop Goes the Weasel. Immense value. Now, I've been talking about perks and using perks for information on how to apply map pressure. Now, there are perks do help, they are not needed. And so what I want to talk about is using passive information like generators popping to be able to intervene against and find survivors and apply that map pressure you need. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to include a clip now of me using a gen pop as an example of how to catch a survivor. And also notice my locker teleportation. I don't teleport to one that they might expect, and so it kind of throws them off. So I'll go ahead and include that clip now. So now you've kind of seen how to use this power a little bit, and I want to talk about I've talked about some good perks and stuff. I want to talk about some other aspects real quick. When I talk about map pressure, keeping survivors injured is really important. The Dredge is potentially one of the best users of a hit and run playstyle, especially since they've nerfed healing in not recent anymore. You can tell I've been playing this game for a while. But that makes him a very good user of Sloppy Butcher, a general perk that is instantly in his blood web. This basically just makes it so survivors take longer to heal, and they can't 99 their healing for a certain amount of time. This is really, really, really good on Dredge, because keeping survivors injured not only does it, not only does it allow him to gain Nightfall faster, but it also allows him to apply map pressure better, which is just a good thing to have. Now, on the same note, it goes about anti-healing. So an anti-healing Dredge build is something you can run. I'm not going to show one today. You can look one of those up because I don't think it's the best way to play him, but he does work. It does work on him. Now, if you're going to get the clown for Pop Goes the Weasel, which I'd recommend doing no matter what killer you want to play, you're going to get another perk, Chlorophobia. Sorry, I'm probably not saying that right. I butcher words sometimes. But either way, this is another clown perk, so I recommend getting the clown as one of your first free killers anyways, so you can get Pop Goes the Weasel. But Chlorophobia, what it does is survivors within your territories have a 50% penalty to healing, progression speed, and skill checks and move 50% faster. This slows healing down to a crawl, especially when comboed with Sloppy Butcher. They just have to be in your tear radius. The thing is about the Dredge, you can apply your tear radius lots of places and slow down healing immensely. Again, anti-healing is good because you'll get Nightfall more often. When you have Nightfall more often, you're more powerful. So it's just something to consider. It's not my favorite thing, but I would recommend it. If you want a general perk that's free to get, that's good on everybody, Know When to Hide is amazing. When you hit damage a generator, all survivors standing within 24 meters of your position are revealed to you. What's good about this is it's based off your position, not the generator, your position. What this means is I can kick a generator on one side of the map, hurry and teleport to the other, come out, and any survivors that are within my position now across the map will also be revealed to me. So any killer that can move fast, like the Dredge, is really good at using this perk, like Blighter Nurse, but he's a really good user of it too. So now that I've talked about that type of stuff, let's talk about add-ons real quick. Add-ons, there are lots of good options for him. I'm going to show you two of my favorites. First up, the Air Freshener, yellow quality, and all it does is gives you an additional power token to your teleporting. This means you can go from just teleport to an extra locker. It's really nice. It helps you can find survivors faster, and it just makes his power a little more enjoyable to use overall. So I'd highly recommend this one, especially when you're first learning him and knowing what lockers to check. Next up, we have the Malthinker's Skull. Increases the Nightfall charge speed by 66% when any survivor is injured. This just makes Nightfall happen a lot more often, which is really good. Now, a few alternatives here. The Malthinker's Skull combos very well with his Iridescent add-ons, the Iridescent Wooden Plank. Survivors are afflicted with exposed status effect for the last 12 seconds of Nightfall. More Nightfall means they'll be exposed more often. If you're not familiar, exposed means they will be downed with one basic attack instead of two. So, for the last 12 seconds, you can one-shot all survivors. That's why the Malthinker's Skull and they make a good combo. Now, if you want another combination that's a little more cheeky right off the bat, I'm going to recommend the Iridescent Wooden Plank and, where is it? The Field Recorder. What this is going to do is it's going to start Nightfall at the start of... It's going to automatically trigger Nightfall at the start of the match, and when the last generator is injured, or the last generator is injured, the last generator is complete, and any survivor that comes in contact with the Remnant is exhausted. Exhausted makes it so they can't use certain perks that are like Life and Sprint Burst. That's the side effect. That's good, but we're not focused on that. What we're talking about are the other two. It's just when having Nightfall proc guaranteed times. Combo with this, you can get downs really good early on, especially if you use a perk called Lethal Pursuer that comes from the Nemesis. Unfortunately, he's a paid character, but Lethal Pursuer, he's one of the ones I highly recommend because Lethal Pursuer is really good. But that shows you the aura of all survivors for 8 seconds at the start of the match. I believe it's 8. So using that plus these two can allow for some easy downs right off the bat and some guaranteed downs at the end of the match, which could save you the match from a tie or even a loss to a victory or a tie. So I highly recommend this combo is pretty good. Personally, I like the Malthinker's Skull plus the Wooden Plank, and while you're first learning his power, I recommend the Air Freshener. There's a lot of other good ones here, but I wouldn't worry about them as much, but they are pretty good. Like the Worry Stone, reveals the aura of survivors for 6 seconds with their locker. That's really good, lots of information. You know how I feel about information in Dredge. It's one of the best things you can have. Next, I want to go ahead and talk about some builds. This build right here that I am showing you is one of my recommended builds for if you want to keep free-to-play perks. All these perks are from characters. I've talked about all these perks, and all these perks are from characters that you can get for free. We'll go over them one more time. We have Tinkerer from the Hillbilly, Nowhere to Hide from the Knight, Sloppy Butcher is a general perk, and Pop Goes the Weasel from the Clown. Great perks. Perk laid out. If you want to go more anti-healing, I'd swap Nowhere to Hideout for Chlorophobia. Next up, this is the perk. This is what I would consider the best Dredge build. I personally use this one in my playing Dredge on my own. I've made a YouTube video about this one. I will go ahead and link it again. Make sure to check it out if you're wanting to play Dredge. This is a very good build, and that video kind of demonstrates it more. What we're going to have is Friends Till the End from Chucky, or the good guy. I've talked about that perk already, but we'll go over it one more time. When you hook a survivor that's not the obsession becomes exposed for 20 seconds and reveals their aura for 10 seconds. That allows you to find the obsession fast when you hook somebody else, teleport to them, get an instant down. All you need is one instance of getting an instant down from this perk, and it will be worth it, and it will be worth running. Next up, I have Lethal Pursuer. Talked about this one already too, from Nemesis. Well, unfortunately, is a paid character, but either way, at the start of the trial, all the auras of all survivors are revealed to you for 9 seconds. As also, any time an aura is shown for a period of time, its duration is increased by 2 seconds. That's going to combo well with Friends to the End and our other 2 perks. Next up, we have Scourge Hook, Floods of Rage. I talked about this one when we first started talking about perks. There's 4 Scourge Hooks when you run this, and when they're highlighted in white. When a survivor is unhooked from a Scourge Hook, the aura of all other survivors' auras are revealed to you for 7 seconds, 9 if you're running Lethal Pursuer. And then last but not least, I have Alien Instinct. This perk activates when you hook a survivor. You see the aura of the farthest injured survivor for 5 seconds. That survivor is oblivious for 20 seconds. These all work phenomenally well together. What I recommend doing is running this build. Find someone who's not, immediately go to someone who's not your obsession with Lethal Pursuer and your power, down them, find your obsession, down them, hook them, and that means right off the bat you can have 2 people on the hook pretty fast. That's a lot of information. And if you can throw them on one of these, on a Scourge Hook, then you're going to see everybody else, and you can continue to find them and pressure them. And on that note, once you hook your obsession at your survivor, if there's any other injured survivors, you will see them with this. You can go to them and down them. This just allows for a very fast-paced pressure applying build that can be very overwhelming to the survivors and is very fun for the killer. If you do want an alternative build that I might suggest, Alien Instinct does combo with Sloppy very well, so you can change that out for Floods of Rage or Lethal Pursuer, but that's up to you. I like Lethal Pursuer because I like having the aura extended, and I really, really do enjoy seeing all the survivors right off the bat. Now this is another idea for a build that I have that I had some success with, but I wouldn't recommend this one constantly. Well, we're going to run Sloppy Butcher. I've already talked about that one. We're going to run Dying Light. This is from The Shape or Michael Myers. What this is going to do is your obsession does everything 33% faster. However, if the obsession is alive, every time we hook a survivor, we gain a stat, or a token. For every token, every other survivor who's not your obsession gain a 3% repair penalty, a 3% speed penalty to repairing, healing, sabotaging speeds for each token. Yeah, it's really good. It slows the game down a lot, and Dredge benefits from slowdown sometimes. Well, every killer does. Friends to the End, we've already talked about that one. Next, we're going to talk about Thanatophobia. This is another good one that can fit into any of those other builds, especially if you want to go with the whole anti-healing build thing. It works pretty well in there. But what this is going to do is for each injured, dying, or hooked survivor, all survivors release a penalty of 2% to repair, sabotage, and totem cleansing speeds. If all 4 survivors are injured, dying, or hooked, there's an additional 12% penalty. That's insane, huge slowdown. And this comes from the Nurse, which is a free character you've unlocked immediately. So yeah, those are some of my recommended builds. And then run any combination of add-ons that you want to with those, by the way. Whatever you think would benefit you the most. That's a lot of my generals for the Dredge out of the way, and that's all I think I want to say for this video. I'm sorry for the long break. I'm going to be more consistent. I'm going to be making videos about this for every killer in the game eventually. If you have any you would like to see sooner than others, please leave them in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like. If there's any Dredge information and tips that I didn't cover that you would like to add, go ahead and put them in the comments too. I'd love to see you guys doing that so we can help people learn what can be a very difficult killer to learn to play and I love being able to help show people that every killer is good in its own way. Yeah, from there, down in the description, I have a link to my Discord server. Make sure to join in there. You can find it's a great place to hang out, meet people to play different games with. You can even meet me, and maybe be in other future videos. There's also a link to a Google form where you can submit any killer builds you want me to try out. Make sure to do that too if you have any that you think would be good for a video. And on that note, if you like the video, go ahead and leave a like, and make sure to subscribe to catch more how-to, or not how-tos, but more guides to killers, and just more Dead by Daylight content in the future. I will see you guys in the next one. Out.